Hello and welcome to your short training video on developing well-being for yourself. My name is Amy and I'll be taking you through this training. So today we're going to be looking at what is well-being, the barriers that might prevent you from developing your well-being, and strategies that can help you to increase your sense of well-being and your sense of happiness within yourself. Well-being doesn't have a set meaning. It is completely individual and unique to yourself. We might use the term well-being to talk about how we feel, how well we're coping with daily life, or what things feel like for us in that moment. Good mental well-being doesn't mean that you're always happy or unaffected by your experiences, but poor mental well-being can make it more difficult to cope with daily life. So by developing our well-being, we're developing our sense of coping and our sense of self. So spend a moment to think about what well-being means to you. It's completely unique for each individual person. Consider what improves your own well-being. Is it exercise? Is it eating the right foods? Is it your pets, your family, your friends? Is it having some alone time? Taking a bath, reading a book? Is it doing your hobbies, spending time with your children? Whatever well-being means to you, take a moment to just consider what those special things are that help improve your own sense of self. A definition of well-being is defined by the Oxford English Dictionary as the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. However, it's important to realise that well-being is a much broader concept than moment-to-moment happiness. While it does include happiness, it also includes other things, such as how satisfied people are with their life, their sense of purpose, or how in control you might feel. So how do we know that our well-being is on a decline? What are the warning signs that we look out for? Well, when your mood is low, your well-being is impacted and your ability to effectively cope with challenges can be diminished. Think about those signs that tell you that you're feeling low. Do you become emotional? Do you get headaches? Do you find it difficult to concentrate? Do you get irritated more easily? Do you struggle to sleep or sleep too much? Do you notice a change in your eating patterns? Do you feel like you want to withdraw from the world? Identify what those warning signs are for you. Make a note of them, because those are the things that will let you know when your well-being is on the decline. For some people, those signs are really explicit and really obvious. For others, they might be more subtle. And of course, those things might be happening due to other circumstances too. So it's about knowing your own responses, knowing your own warning signs. So what happens when our well-being is impacted? Well, our well-being impacts our physical health and our mental health. If we feel a diminished sense of well-being, we may also see other things impact our life, such as a worsening of mental health, a weakened immune system, a reduced drive to exercise, a significant loss or an increase in appetite, an increased risk of substance abuse, a reliance on unhealthy coping strategies. We might also see our stress levels increase, and we might see our emotional responses increase too. Our well-being really does impact our physiological sense of health and self. So knowing your warning signs and recognising your well-being being on the decline is the first step to actually putting strategies in place to help improve your well-being. Let's take a moment to have a look at how we can improve our well-being. A national campaign looks at 5 ways to well-being, and those 5 key areas to improve your own well-being includes being connected, being active, taking notice, giving, and keeping learning. If we can improve those 5 key areas in our life, we see an increase in our well-being, our health, and our happiness, and our ability to cope. When we think about being active, we're thinking about being physically active. This includes being at work and improving our physical health. We all know that by improving our healthy lifestyles, we can improve our mind and our well-being and decrease stress, depression and anxiety. But being active doesn't necessarily mean that you need to join a gym or you need to have a very strict exercise regime. For some people that works really effectively, for others that's really difficult to build into their everyday lives. So when we think about increasing our activities around being active, let's think outside the box a little bit. Have you been going for a walk? Have you been going for a run? Could you step outside on your lunch break and just breathe in the fresh air and maybe go for a short walk? Could you do your gardening or go out into the garden? Do you walk your dog or your pets? Could you play a game? Could you dance? And these things don't need to be structured. They don't need to be formally exercise classes. However, they could be dancing around your kitchen whilst you're cooking your tea. It could be walking your dog before you go to work in the morning. Or as I say, going for a walk around the block on your lunch break. Introducing small activities around being active will really help you to boost your immune system, boost your coping strategies, and help decrease anxiety levels. So let's think about being connected. When we talk about being connected in the middle of a pandemic, that's really difficult because people have been isolated, there's been a forced restriction on contact with others, and we've had to learn new ways of communication and new ways of reaching out. For some people, that's worked really effectively. Zoom parties were really popular at the start of the first lockdown, but people have become a little bit zoomed out. So how else can we form that connection, and what is it that helps improve your own sense of well-being in regards to that? The way that we connect with others can boost our well-being dramatically. COVID has impacted our interactions. It's made us distance ourselves and change our interactions. We can communicate now from behind a mask, behind screens, and in some ways that can feel alien and isolating. So consider the opportunities in your work and home life to connect to others. Do you have the opportunity to debrief with your team? Do you have the opportunity to talk to people within your home life? And actually, do you have the opportunity to connect in a less intense way? So we've seen an increase in sharing memes on social media, having visual connections, so in terms of Zoom calls or Teams meetings, but also being able to see our friends and family again. Consider the way that you seek comfort from others. Are you able to build this into your weekly routine? Whether that's within your working role or whether that's within your home role, but that connection with others is really vital to your well-being. Have you gone from working in a very fast-paced team to working very remotely and isolated? Is there a way that you can have a group get-together with your work colleagues so you don't feel so alone? Or is there a way that you can build into your weekly routine an opportunity to just connect with other people at a level that feels comfortable for you? That will make a difference, and it will allow you to feel less isolated and less alone. But it has to be at the pace that is right for you, and it has to be with the people that help improve your well-being, not cause a decline. So when we think about keeping learning, that can be quite a big topic. And the thought of learning for some people can feel a little bit intimidating or like another commitment that is too much. However, keeping learning can be a really fun and exciting and enjoyable part of your routine. It's about expressing your creativity and giving yourself the opportunity to focus on something else. Research suggests that people who engage in everyday forms of creativity, things like taking photographs, making collages, publishing work, they tend to be more open-minded, curious, positive, energetic, and more motivated by activity. Our creativity isn't limited It can be shown in forms of baking, it could be art forms, it could be through gardening, sewing, sketching. Any form of creativity that helps develop your sense of well-being and self is a really useful tool here. But if not, it's about learning. It's about picking up something that takes your interest and allowing your mind to understand and develop knowledge on that topic. That could be through reading, it could be through signing up to a course. There's lots of distance learning courses out there at the moment too. However, the really important part of this element of improving your well-being is allowing your mind to be creative with its learning. Consider what takes your interest. Consider what might help boost your well-being. Consider how you can develop that into your routine. Has cooking become a chore? Have you had the opportunity to draw recently, or to do flower arranging or gardening, or to take up a new hobby? Is there something that you'd love to do but just don't feel like you have the energy? Take a small step towards it, and that might make a difference to your sense of well-being. It will increase your sense of value, it will increase your sense of ability, and it will allow you to express that creativity and allow you to keep learning. When we think about giving, we often think about giving parts of ourselves or giving material things. This doesn't have to be the case. When we think about giving in terms of well-being, giving generates a feel-good factor within you. You're seeing instant gratitude from the person who is receiving your kindness, and that creates a sense of well-being. This doesn't have to be a huge act of giving. This could be something as small as posting a letter, or making somebody a cup of tea, or giving your time to talk to somebody, or providing companionship for someone who's lonely. The other person will feel included and valued, and you will feel that you're giving part of yourself that also has value. Giving can be something as small as smiling at somebody. Bit tricky to do behind a mask. However, we've lost that connectivity with people, so by giving a smile or a greeting, this can have a positive effect on your mood too, and can make the other people around you feel better. They say that smiling is contagious and it can lower stress and activity. So challenge yourself. Can you smile at someone today? Can you simply say hello and make somebody's day? You might be the only person that's actually doing that. And in return, you'll also feel that sense of value and that sense of well-being increase. You don't have to give the parts of yourself or feel like you're sacrificing yourself. It's giving that connectivity. Giving that sense of value to other people is a really vital part of recognising the value in yourself. Taking notice is about allowing yourself to feel and to take notice of your surroundings and what's happening for you in the moment. We're often mired deep in our worries and concerns and our next activity, often planning how we're going to do our next thing that we need to get in place. However, taking a moment to notice what is happening for yourself and around you, and allowing yourself to feel in that moment, acts as a grounding point and allows you to take stock of what intervention needs to come next to help you best. So pay attention to the present moment, to what thoughts and feelings are passing through your mind, and what's happening in the world around you in this very moment. Taking that notice will help to boost your well-being. Take notice on how you're feeling. Notice the environment that you're in. Notice where you're holding the tension in your body. Take a moment to do that now. Are your shoulders really tense? Can you drop them just a little bit and release that tension? Are you clenching your jaw as you're watching this video? Are you multitasking? and doing lots of things at once. Take a moment to just be present in this moment. What small things can be done to allow you to release some of that tension in your body? Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Give yourself that focused attention. It will make a world of difference. And now, take a moment to just look around you. Look around at your environment. Is it conducive to the role that you're wanting to do? Is it helping you to achieve? Are there any small things that need to be changed? Take notice of what your body's telling you. Are you hungry? Do you need to get up and go for a walk? Do you need to stretch a little bit? Do you need to focus on your sleep? Take notice and put those small things into action. It will impact your well-being, and it will also increase your sense of value for yourself. Let's do a small exercise that can help you with taking notice in the moment and really reground you when you might be feeling overwhelmed or when your well-being seems to be in a decline. This exercise is called abdominal breathing and can be done anywhere, at any time, doesn't need to be intrusive and doesn't need to be invasive in any way, shape or form. The way that we do this is you take one hand and place it on your chest, here. Take the other hand and place it just above your stomach on your diaphragm. Take a deep breath in through your nose, allowing your diaphragm, not your chest, to inflate with enough air to create a slight stretching sensation in your lungs. You want to be pushing the hand that's just above your stomach out with your breath, not the hand that's on your chest. Take that deep breath in now through your nose and exhale, making sure that the hand on your diaphragm is moving with that breath. Good. Do that again. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out, allowing your stomach to expand with the air. Well done. Repeating this exercise will force your breathing to elongate and will force you to take slower, deeper breaths. By taking those slower, deeper breaths, you are regrounding yourself in the moment, you're providing your body with the oxygen that's needed. And those slow, deep breaths, if you can repeat this activity, can help you to reduce your heart rate and your blood pressure and reduce that anxiety and those stress levels in your body. You will feel more in control and you will feel much more centered and able to cope in that moment. So when things start to feel a little bit overwhelmed or things start to feel a little bit too much for you, take a moment, take a breath, and make sure you're breathing to the lower part of your lungs, not the upper part. If you're breathing to the hand that's on your chest and you're feeling that top part of your chest going in and out with your breath, then your breathing isn't deep enough. You're forcing yourself to take shallow breaths, and that could impact your body in a physiological manner. If you can take 6 to 10 slow, deep breaths for around 10 minutes a day, then you will be controlling that sense of well-being in a much more effective manner. But if you can only do it once or twice a day and you can just remember to take a breath, that will also help you too. Another strategy that's really important to helping you improve your well-being is prioritizing your time. Everybody is busy and feels a little bit frantic. People are often feeling overwhelmed by the things that they need to do and build into their life. However, set time aside for you to prioritize. Book this in your diary if you have to. When you're in a role that is continuously firefighting and continuously dealing with crisis or issues or concerns or really difficult situations, actually the things that you need to get done fall to the bottom of that list. So allow yourself to have set time where you can work on those priorities. This will allow you to work through your goals, to feel like you've made an achievement, and to actually allow yourself that opportunity to focus on the things that are taking up some of your subconscious energy. Prioritising that time and identifying when you can build that into your weekly schedule will allow you to boost your well-being and allow you to plan for your well-being to be improved. Again, if you're incredibly busy or you're feeling like there is no time to do that, then book an hour in your week and have that as your focused time to work through some of those key tasks that are causing you anxiety and impacting your well-being. Something else to consider is your own use of language. And when we talk about this, we're referring to how you think or talk about yourself. Is the language that you're using for yourself full of demands? Things like, I should be doing something, I must do this. Is it full of have-tos, oughts? If that's the case, this language that you're using for your time, for your energy, for yourself, puts an unnecessary pressure on yourself and makes that journey towards your well-being goal much more demanding. Can you convert that language into a preference where there's a desire for action? So rather than I should be doing my next activity, can it be changed to I could be doing my next activity? So there feels like that there is a choice and there feels like there's a drive for action. If you're considering the language that you use for yourself and you recognise that you are using language that perhaps is damaging to your sense of well-being, consider how those small changes might make an impact. How might we talk to somebody who is feeling a little bit fragile? We often use a much kinder language to other people than we do to ourselves. And if that's the case, can you apply some of that to yourself and show yourself the same compassion that you would show others? That small change will again improve your well-being and boost your sense of self-value. Changing that language from a negative into a more supportive language for yourself will encourage you to take that action and will make a difference. Mindfulness is a term that is often used in our everyday life. We hear it all the time on social media. We know the value of mindfulness can be really impactful. But often, mindfulness is a skill that is learnt over a period of time and can take a lot of effort and energy to put into place. If you can develop this skill, that will help your well-being no end. But if you find that a little bit tricky, sometimes a really simple mindfulness trick is to notice what you're experiencing in the present moment. If you're eating a meal, actually experience the taste that's in your mouth, the texture, the consistency, the smell, and really take in what's happening for you in that moment. A strategy that you can use that can help develop mindfulness techniques and develop your discipline within mindfulness is to consider 3 things. So take a moment and consider what 3 things can you hear right now. You might hear a clock ticking, you might hear your own heartbeat, you might hear the heating, you might hear people talking or the birds singing. What 3 things can you hear in this moment? Okay, the next 3 things I want you to consider are what are the 3 things you can see in this moment. That might be this video. It might be the sky outside of a window. You might be seeing a busy office. You might be seeing the inside of your car, depending on where you're watching this video. But take notice of 3 things that you can see. And finally, consider what 3 things you can feel in this moment. Can you feel the chair under your legs? Can you feel the breeze coming in through the door? Can you feel your phone in your pocket? Take a moment, and when you need to reground yourself or recenter, have a consideration around the three things you can see, 3 things you can hear, and 3 things you can feel. That very short exercise will bring you back into the present space and will prevent your mind from having anxiety, stresses, worries, concerns that you can't control for that simple moment. It will bring you back to centre and will allow you then to move forward with focus and purpose. It's impossible to do this exercise and not be present and mindful. And it's a really simple way of starting that practice of mindfulness. So when you feel your mind becoming overwhelmed, take a moment and consider 3 things. And finally, it's really important to ensure that you know that practicing self-care is not selfish. Self-care is a vital part of your own well-being. And as much as we may feel selfish for taking a moment to develop our own sense of well-being or to develop our understanding of ourselves, this isn't a selfish practice, it is necessary. And you are allowed to give yourself permission to stop, to identify what those barriers are for your own well-being and to put some of those strategies in place. You don't have to do all of them. Pick the things that make you feel most comfortable and then build on them. But give yourself permission to stop and practice self-care. If you haven't had a lunch break all week, or if you haven't had the opportunity to have your cup of tea in the morning and that's the one thing that makes you feel a little bit settled for the day, start building that back into your weekly routine. If you need to consider the language that you're using on yourself, or if you need to take a moment to just have 5 minutes reading a book, then build it into your weekly routine. Take yourself out for a walk at lunchtime, move yourself away from the screen, allow yourself permission to take that well-being moment. And I hope that these strategies have an impact for you and allow you to start building your own toolkit of strategies for supporting your own well-being. If you do notice a decline in your own well-being and you feel like you need additional support, please do seek help. There are helplines out there, your GP can guide you, your line manager can guide you in terms of seeking further support for your well-being. But building these strategies for yourself will empower you to make that difference in your everyday life. Thank you for listening to this training and have a very lovely rest of your day.